Hi aspirants, welcome to our weekly current affairs roundup for environment and geography. Today's first topic is about the olive ridley turtles, which are constantly in news throughout the years, and now again they are in news. These olive ridley turtles are the smallest and the most abundant. They are the smallest and the most abundant of all sea turtles in the world, and they are found in warm waters in Pacific, Atlantic and the Indian Oceans. These are some specific prelims points. And they are known for the Rushikulya Rookery coast in the Odisha and the Gahirmata beach at the mouth of the Debi river. This could be a question. So the river is Debi river. So these turtles are known to nest in these two important places in India. Every year, the Indian Coast Guard's Operation Olivia. So what is Operation Olivia is the operation of the Indian Coast Guard to initiate or help protect the olive ridley turtles as they congregate along the Odisha coast for breeding and nesting. And this happens every year from November to December. And this is happening since 1980s. It is happening since 1980s. These are some of the important details about olive ridley turtles. So we have already discussed a lot about these turtles, and now some important details are these. And something else to be noted is, apart from this olive ridley turtles, the other one is the Kemp's ridley turtle, which is just a cousin of this olive ridley turtle, and they are also known for this nesting in both these places where it is Rushikulya and Gahirmata. Okay, it's not just the olive ridley turtles, they are cousin or simply the same species ones, the Kemp's ridley turtle also. The next topic is about the PENSILUngPA glacier, which is found in the Ladakh region, and it's news because it is retreating. Retreating means it is melting, that's it. And it's due to an increase in the temperature and decrease in precipitation during winters. This could be a geography question. So the statement could be like this: a glacier will retreat when the precipitation decreases during winters. So when precipitation decreases, that is when rainfall decreases, the glacier could retreat or the glacier could melt. So this is something that you have to know here, and that is particularly during the winters. And this glacier, the PENSILUngPA glacier, is found in the Zaskar range in the Ladakh region. So this Zaskar range is a mountain range in the Ladakh, and it separates the Zaskar region from the Ladakh region. This range separates the Zaskar region from the Ladakh region. And geologically, this Zaskar range is part of the Tethys Himalayas. So Zaskar range is part of Tethys Himalayas. And apart from this, you have some important passes here. One is the Marble Pass. The Marble Pass and many other passes which connect Ladakh with Kashmir are found in this region. So we know Kashmir is a valley and it is here, and in between Kashmir and Ladakh there are many passes which connect these two places, and one such pass is this Marble Pass. And apart from this, the Zojila Pass is also found here, which is at the northwest of the Zaskar region. So the Zojila Pass is at the northwest region of the Zaskar Pass. The next topic is about lead poisoning. This is in news because recently high levels of lead were found in the blood of thousands of children living in the Kabwe mine in Zambia. So this could also be a question, where is the Kabwe mine found? It's actually in Zambia. And some important reasons why we fear this lead poisoning is because it is a potential neurotoxin. So this is a neurotoxin, which means it's going to affect your brain, and it causes irreparable harm to children's brain. It is particularly destructive to babies and children under the age of 5. because it damages the brain before they could have the opportunity to fully develop at all. So this could end up in lifelong neurological, cognitive and physical impairment. All these three types of impairment can be caused to a child because of lead poisoning. And childhood lead exposure has also been linked to mental health and behavioral problems and increased crime and violence. This could very well be used in a mains exam. So pollution is directly connected to crime, where this lead poisoning could affect the brains of children in such a way that when they grow up, they could become criminals and they could very easily indulge in violence, because that is how their brain has been affected. And older children suffer severe consequences like increased risk of kidney damage and cardiovascular diseases even in the later times of life. And apart from this lead, it gets stored in teeth and bones and it gets accumulated in the bone itself. So you can see that some of the damages it could cause, which includes kidney damage, heart diseases, which could end up in the later point of life also. Apart from that, it accumulates in the teeth and bone as well. And it is estimated that $1 trillion could be the economic loss because of this lead poisoning to children over the lifetime. Because if children are getting poisoned, I mean, if they are becoming unproductive, what you can think, what could happen to the country? Without human resource, no resource in a country is going to be of any use. So this is going to kill the human resource. So lead poisoning is really dangerous and we have to really take care of it. And I hope you know, long back by 2000 itself, India banned leaded petrol, because before that in petrol bunks we can see petrol with lead in it, but India banned it in the year 2000 itself. And by 2011, UN has announced that it has been successful in phasing out the leaded gasoline worldwide. So by 2000, India banned it. By 2011, it has phased out in the entire world, which is leaded petrol. So all the lead contamination now is because of various other reasons. We know batteries used are mostly lead acid batteries. If you are not properly recycling it, if you are going to throw it into garbage, it's going to cause poisoning. See here, substandard or informal recycle of lead acid batteries. And WHO has said 1 of 10 chemicals of major public health concern, and lead is one out of it. Among the 10 chemicals in the world which causes major health problem, one is lead. And WHO, along with the United Nations Environment Program, or simply the UNEP, it forms something called as the Global Alliance. And why is this Global Alliance? To eliminate lead paint. And this could be asked in various ways. So what is a Global Alliance, or who are the people involved in it? You should know it is WHO plus the UNEP. The next topic is H2. So from the name itself, you can see that something it looks to be or made to be look very fancy or attractive or something. So it's going to be something involved with children. So we are not calling it as H2O. We are calling it H2O, something like that. So what is it? It was launched by UNESCO in 2021. It's launched in 2021 jointly with the National Mission for Clean Ganga. We have discussed a lot about this National Mission of Clean Ganga in our previous videos, and now UNESCO and National Mission for Clean Ganga have joined together and they have implemented something called as this H2O. And what it tries to do is, it aims to spur creativity and raise awareness on water conservation among students, and particularly of the age 6 to 14, by training them and encouraging them to submit paintings and story ideas for animated short films and so on. So children will be really motivated by this as they are getting interested towards this, as they work towards this. Alongside, they get awareness about this water conservation as well. This method has been used for like many years, doesn't it? In our school life, we are encouraged to write essays, draw paintings about great leaders and so on, so that when we try to write that essay or when we do paintings about those leaders, we come to know about them. and we get inspired about them. So this method is being used for a very long time, and this same method the government is trying to use it for water conservation. So in a childhood, if a child gets awareness of this water conservation, when the child grows up also, it will always have this thought in its mind of water conservation. So this H2 is a unique program crafted for Indian school students from standard 1 to 8. Either you can be asked as 16 to 14 years old, or the school is 1st standard to 8th standard school children. The next topic is Section 10 of the Disaster Management Act. So this Disaster Management Act, it is like very frequently in question always, because it is really important for India. For question related to environment and geography, disaster management questions are very like frequent. So the Section 10 of the Disaster Management Act 2005, it actually deals with the powers and functions of the National Executive Committee. So what power does this National Executive Committee have? To lay down guidelines or give directions to the ministries, departments, state governments, state authorities, to all these people regarding disaster management. So when there is a disaster situation, it could be a flood, or it could be like this COVID-19 pandemic or anything. So when disaster management takes over it, the power given to them is under the Section 10 of the Disaster Management Act is the National Executive Committee under the Disaster Management Act. When it gives some guidelines or it makes some orders, all these people, central ministries, departments, state governments, state authorities, all these people have to follow it. So what sort of power or what sort of guidelines this disaster management's National Executive Committee can give is mentioned in this Section 10 of the Disaster Management Act 2005. And this section, it also empowers the National Executive Committee to lay down guidelines, including for state governments as well. So that is very important. It is also for state government and they have to obey it. It is not just for the center. So some details about this act. This act was in 2005. It came to force in the year 2006. And this act is for managing disasters, which includes preparation of mitigation strategies, capacity building, and so on. It is also for after the disaster. So how to do the building up after a disaster has already hit, that also comes under this disaster management. So this could be a prelims question where what are the powers or the jobs under this disaster management? It includes managing, mitigation, and also capacity building. So it is about already planning for any forthcoming disaster, acting during the disaster, and after the disaster is over, how to mitigate it, how to build from it. All these are coming under this act. Nothing is left over. So you can see all state governments are mandated to establish something called as a state disaster management authority. So this act makes it mandatory for every state government to establish this authority. It is compulsory. So what are the powers given to the center government under this act? So irrespective of any law in force, so you can see the power of this law. Whatever law is, any other law is in force, this law can override that and it can give directions to any authority to facilitate or assist in the disaster management. So whatever act is already in force, if there is a disaster, this act could override every other act and it could give laws or guidelines to any authority, and that authority has to follow it. So these directions have to be followed by union ministries, state governments, state disaster management authorities. All these people have to follow any guideline given by the central government, and this power is given by the Disaster Management Act of 2005. And under this act, the clause 6, clause 3, clause 6 subclause 3, it says the Prime Minister can exercise all the powers of this National Disaster Management Authority. I hope you know the National Disaster Management Authority comes under directly the Prime Minister. This act has been given so much power. The next topic is about World Air Quality Report, and it was released in 2021 this year as well. And this 2021 World Air Quality Report, it has given an overview of the state of global air quality in the year 2021, a general report how the air quality is. So that is what this report gives. It is released by something called as IQ Air, which is a Swiss group. It is in Switzerland. So this measures the air quality levels based on the concentration of particulate matter 2.5 or simply PM 2.5. This is really important because a question could be asked whether this World Air Quality Report is made considering PM 2.5 or PM 10 or both PM 2.5 and PM 10. All these ways the question could be asked, but actually it takes into consideration only PM 2.5. So this 2.5 is actually the size of that matter. It's very small, so that is why it is more destructive or more dangerous. It could easily get into the nostrils. It could cause a lot of diseases, everything, and it is very difficult to detect it as well. That's why it becomes too dangerous. And according to the report, Bangladesh has recorded an average PM 2.5 level of 76.9 micrograms. So 76.9 micrograms per cubic meter. But actually, according to the World Health Organization, the recommended maximum level is 5 micrograms. See the difference. So actually the permitted level is 5 micrograms, but Bangladesh's PM 2.5 level is 76.9. You can imagine how much Bangladesh is polluted, and that is why it is the first highest country to be polluted. And not just this year, in 2018, 19, 2020 also Bangladesh was the most polluted country in the world. For consecutively 4 years, Bangladesh has been the most polluted country in the world. And apart from this, something more important is not a single country in the world has met the WHO's air quality standard. So there is no country which has this PM 2.5 with the value of 5 microgram or lesser than that. So every country is not meeting this WHO recommended level. So all over the world, 93 cities reported PM 2.5 levels above 10 times the recommended level. It is 10 times. Okay, 93 countries are 10 times more than the recommended level of 5 micrograms. And as far as the cities are considered, Dhaka is the most polluted city in the world after Delhi. So Delhi is in first place, Dhaka is in the second place, because the PM 2.5 in Delhi is 85.1 and in Dhaka it is 78.1. and you could connect this something with a polity or politics as well. There was a huge question going on when Punjab had seen this election recently. That is, we can see that the Aam Aadmi Party has come to power in Punjab. At the same time, Aam Aadmi Party is at the power in Delhi, and there they have promised the people of Delhi saying that we will reduce this pollution. But at the same time, one huge reason for the pollution, for the air pollution in Delhi, is the burning of this hay or the agricultural matter in Punjab. So in both these places, Aam Aadmi is in power. Are they going to make it strict in Punjab not to burn the stubble, which the farmers are not very happy about? Or are they going to fail the promise made to the people of Delhi, where they said we are going to reduce pollution? So it's a huge tussle. What are they going to do? So you can see that New Delhi is so much polluted, and there's a huge question how they are going to stop this. And hopefully we can see that most of the cities in India are switching to electrical vehicles, and Delhi is the foremost in that, and in near future we might hope that the pollution level comes down in Delhi. And in this report, what is the performance of India? As we said, New Delhi is the most polluted city in the world consecutively for the 4 consecutive years, and India was home to 11 of the 15 most polluted cities in Central Asia and South Asia. And according to this report, the economic cost is 8 billion US dollars, or simply 3 to 4% of GDP. You can imagine how much this air pollution is costing a country. And moreover, air pollution is now considered to be the world's largest environmental health threat. And it is a reason for 7 million deaths. It's a reason for 7 million deaths around the world every year. So the highest threat or the highest environmental threat is the air pollution according to this report. So that's it for today. We'll see the rest of the topic in the next class. Jai Hind. Thank you. If you found the content to be useful, please share it with your friends. Let us learn and grow together.